This video is to look at the ABCs of Pythagoras' theorem, a very easy concept that applies only on right angle triangles. So the first thing you need to do is always check whether you have a right angle triangle. Now obviously you could see from here that there is a little sign there that indicates that's a right angle on the triangle, and therefore this is a right angle triangle. Then the next thing is to determine which is the hypotenuse. Now the hypotenuse is the longest side. The longest side is always opposite the 90 degrees. So that here is called the hypotenuse. Let's say we name all these three sides. Now let's call the bottom one here A, this one here B, and the length of the hypotenuse, C. Now Pythagoras' theorem basically says that the length of the hypotenuse, in this case C, if you square it, is always equals to the sum of the square of two other sides, which is A squared and B squared. Simply written mathematically, that's C squared equals to A squared plus B squared. So how do we apply this in problems? Very easy. Let's say you have a question like this, and the question asks you to find the value of x. So the first thing you check, is this a right angle triangle? Yes, it is, because that is 90 degrees. Next thing, where is hypotenuse? Well, hypotenuse is the length opposite 90 degrees, which is the longest length, that is x. So, hypotenuse is here. Now, Pythagoras says c squared, which is hypotenuse squared, is always equals to the sum of the square of the other two sides. That one there, 3 and 4. So mathematically, we can say x squared is equals to 3 squared plus 4 squared. Now 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. Add them together, I get 25. That means x squared is 25. So x would be the square root of 25, which is equals to 5. There you go. We managed to solve for the value of x. Now sometimes, for example in this question, you're asked to find the value of x, which isn't the hypotenuse. Now let's go through the routine again. First of all, is this a right angle triangle? Yes, this is, because the 90 degrees is here. Next thing, what is the longest side? There you go, that is the longest side, and we call it the hypotenuse. And you know the hypotenuse here is 10. So you're looking for a value x, which isn't the hypotenuse. So every time when you're in a situation like this, what you need to do is, instead of adding, you do subtraction. I always teach my students this. You write down the value that you're looking for, which is x. You square it. Now that is equals to 10 squared. Why? Because 10 is the longest side. In fact, it's the longest side. You square 10, take away 6 squared. Now that is 800, and 6 squared is 36. Therefore, x squared is 100 take away 36, gives you 64. X is equals to square root of 64, which is 8. There you go. We managed to find the value of x. So just recap very quickly. Pythagoras works only on right angle triangle. determine where hypotenuse is, and then hypotenuse square is the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Put simply, if you have a situation where you have a right angle triangle, for example in this case, where this is hypotenuse, and if you want to find hypotenuse, the equation you need to write is x squared is equals to 3 squared plus 4 squared. You then work this out. However, if you're looking for an x, where x is not the hypotenuse is here, 10. In this case, x squared is equals to 10 squared, take away 6 squared. Let me go through this again. If you're looking for hypotenuse, you add. If you're not looking for hypotenuse, you subtract.